Well, let me tell you all a story about a man named Jed and the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, the Beverly Hillbillies. You may recognize that name. Of course, the Beverly Hillbillies was a TV show, started back in the 60s. I saw it in reruns as a kid in the 70s. Always kind of made me laugh. What it is a hillbillies transplanted to Beverly Hills. Jed Clampett discovers oil on his land, and he's able to sell it, well, in this movie, for $1 billion. So he's a billionaire. Of course, they had to update this because in the 60s, being a millionaire actually meant something. But now it's billionaire. And this is the mid-90s. But yeah, you have your same cast of characters that you had back in the show. You have Jed Clampett, this time portrayed by Jim Varney, Ernest himself. Very different performance than Ernest P. Worrell. And you get Granny, played here by Cloris Leachman. She's okay. She's not quite as extreme, and she doesn't have the crazy voice like the lady in Irene Ryan had in the original Beverly Hillbillies, but still she's alright here. Then you get Jethro. Now Jethro, I've always found that guy funny, ever since I was a little kid. I mean, you know, the level of humor you get from this guy, the crossed eyes and the slapstick, fall on his face getting hurt, kind of super dumbass kind of humor. That's Jethro. He's the comedic relief for this whole series. He was portrayed by an actor named Max Baer Jr. back in the 60s in the original show. Here, he is portrayed by Diedrich Bader. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. You may recognize this guy from the Drew Carey show. He was the funniest guy on there. He's no comedic genius. But this guy, he's just a big, dumb guy, and he says dumb stuff, and plays the Jethro role perfectly, if you ask me. Maybe at some points he's a little too goofy, if that's possible, for this extremely goofy mid-90s comedy. Oh, and then you get Ellie Mae, portrayed here by Erika Eleniak. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She was featured on Baywatch before. Her acting, though, she's not made for comedy. This Erika Eleniak, she's basically made to be there and be pretty and whatever. I just didn't care for her in this movie that much. But, yeah, you got your Ellie Mae. And then, of course, if you remember the Beverly Hillbillies back in the day, you always have the scheming, slightly evil, more just greedy Mr. Drysdale, the head of the bank that lives next door to the Clampetts and kind of manages his money affairs, Jed Clampett's billion-dollar fortune. He's portrayed by Dabney Coleman in this. And Dabney Coleman, I think he was in another movie I featured on this channel before. He was in Young Doctors in Love. And he was like a dirtbag surgeon in that one. Well, in this one, he's a dirtbag banker. But he actually is kind of a good guy in here. Because he doesn't want to see Jed Clampett lose his money. He just wants to make money off of Jed Clampett's money. Yeah, he has an assistant, though. Of course, you may remember Miss Hathaway from the original show. Here, she's played by Lily Tomlin. And Lily Tomlin is probably the best actor in this whole movie. She's funny. She embraces the original character and doesn't try to do too much of her own thing. But she just takes this character and runs with it. She was one of the bright spots in here. I mean, most of the humor in here it's an eye roll. Like, a lot of it calls back to the old school humor of the original show, which I did enjoy. And a lot of it is also kind of updated sort of things about telephones with no wires. How can they be talking? She's talking to herself. There's like a monster truck joke in there. There's a joke about Subway, some product placement in there. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's pretty cheesy. I don't know. This was the mid-90s. They were looking at all these old TV properties, and they're like, what can we remake and bring back a guaranteed audience to come and see this movie adaptation of their old favorite show. You know, they did the Brady Bunch. There was eventually like a Dukes of Hazzard movie adaptation. And more recently, the A-Team. Like, I'm surprised they haven't brought back like the Golden Girls. It'll have to be like the Golden Girls, the next generation. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, one of those revival comedy movies. And that's fine. It is what it is. I think they did a half decent job here. This isn't a terrible movie. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was. It's lowbrow, and the humor is dumb, and it's a bunch of, I guess, hillbilly shaming jokes. Like, classist kind of humor. But it's just a sign of the times. And it's a movie of its time. I mean, I didn't see it in a theater. I saw it probably the next year on video, or maybe several years even after that. But watching it again this time around, I think I appreciated it a little more. You know, especially after the death of like Jim Varney and not seeing a whole bunch of those actors around anymore. It was nice to appreciate, you know, what some of them were at the top of their game, you know. There's some cameos in here, too. As a matter of fact, you get a cameo from Buddy Ebsen, who played Jed Clampett in the original TV show. He cameos as Barnaby Jones, who's a character that he played on another show back in the day. And then you get a Dolly Parton cameo in here. You also get Zsa Zsa Gabor, who's briefly in this. I don't even know if she has a line or not, but she's in the police lineup with the Clampetts because they all get arrested. And I guess this is around the time when it was very notable in the tabloids that Zsa Zsa Gabor like slapped some cop or something like that. So they arrested her. Yeah, so there's a little 90s callback for you. But the Beverly Hillbillies, yeah, the jokes in here, they're stupid. Everything is a big misunderstanding because the Clampetts just can't wrap their heads around modern technology or, you know, the differences in culture between like super, super rural America and the hustle and bustle and the glitz and glamour of Hollywood and Beverly Hills. But it doesn't overstay its welcome, though. They have a dumb storyline that pretty much plays out just like the old TV show, and they wrap it up in a convenient time, and it works for what it is. So I didn't hate this movie. I didn't think I was going to hate it, but I didn't think I was going to like it as much as this either. So I was on the verge of giving it a C+, but I'm so bored of C+. Since, you know, it was a little bit more positive experience than I thought it was going to be, I'm giving it a B-. I don't know, it's definitely a B movie. This is not top tier or anything. This isn't going to win any awards other than a like 24% Rotten Tomatoes score. So yeah, gave me a chuckle. So until next time, have a good one, everybody. Y'all come back now. You hear?